Hello, my lovely friends. Welcome back to today, day 3 of our 7-day mental wellness journey course. Again, I'm so excited to have you with me, and I just want to say today that I'm really proud of you, and you should be really proud of yourself to making it this far in the course. I know it's only day 3. We think of it well, it's only day 3. I haven't made it to the end yet. But you should be really proud of the progress you've been making so far. Because like I said before, you guys, the stuff that we're working on ourselves mentally, it's not easy. It's not always easy, that's for sure. And the fact that you came back on day 3 and you're still here and you're still doing it, you're still putting in the work, it's really, really amazing, you guys. And whether you realize or you feel like you're making progress or not yet, you're going to make so much progress, and I'm just really proud of you, and I just want you to know that as my fellow friend. So today's theme, this is one of my favorites of the course, is putting the you, Y-O-U, in unique. Because each of us, we're all individuals, and I've said this before, and we all have different likes, different dislikes. We all have things that really make us unique, really make us special, you know? And so today we're just going to take a beat to kind of celebrate ourselves, and we're only going to focus on positives today. Absolutely no negatives. I know yesterday we did a lot of tough work with talking about negative things and negative thoughts and turning them into positives, and that was really, really challenging probably for a lot of us. So today we're going to kind of take a break from that, and we're going to only focus on positive things, only focus on what makes each of us really, really great people. Because we are all really, really beautiful people, and you're a beautiful person, and we're going to celebrate you today. So we're going to get started again with our kind of meditative beginning intro grounding technique of the day. Today we're going to focus on our 5 senses, or as many senses as you think you have. Maybe you think you have a 6th sense, I don't know. Maybe if you're Haley Joel Osment watching and you've got that 6th sense, I see dead people, you know? Oh, again, joke with me, have fun with this. But we are going to get started by using our 5 senses. And I want you to, we're going to do this kind of like visualizing. You can close your eyes if you want to while we do this or not. It doesn't matter. Again, just get in whatever position. I'm just going to sit here today. It doesn't really matter what position your body is in today. Because today we're going to focus on, again, we're still going to feel in our bodies and feel that grounding in ourselves. But we're going to focus on our senses, so we're kind of going to come inward a little bit with this one. So I want you to start by visualizing your favorite food. Visualize something that sounds really good to eat right now, right? Now, if you're someone that maybe food isn't your thing, right? Maybe your relationship with food is you're like, oh, I don't want to think about that. That's okay. Alternatively, if you don't want to think about your favorite food, think of just your favorite scent. Think of if you were to walk into a Bath and Body store, Bath and Body Works store, or a perfumery or something right now, what is the scent that would pull you in the most? So either your favorite food or your favorite scent, really, really think of that and visualize that. And again, you can close your eyes if you want to while we do this. I'm going to close my eyes because it helps me to visualize more when my eyes are closed because I'm not looking at everything else that's around me. So just close your eyes and we're going to go through the 5 senses. So we're going to start by how does this thing that we're visualizing, how does it look? When you use your sight, what do you see? Again, whether it's food or a scent, what do you physically see when you're picturing this item or this object, this food or the scent? What are you visually seeing when you imagine it? Use your mind's eye, if you will, to really create a picture of that. Now, once you've got that, we're going to think about how does this sound? I know that it might seem kind of weird, but if it's a food, think of maybe while the food is being prepared, what does it physically sound like? Is there some crackling going on, some popping? What is happening as that's being prepared? And if it's a scent, your favorite smell, how does this smell come to be? Where does this smell originally come from? Maybe if you're imagining smelling a candle, How do you think that candle was created? Can you visualize that process and then visualize how that sounds? And now let's go on ahead and how does this thing smell? Of course, if it's a scent, you can probably really visualize that into how it smells. If it is a food, go on ahead and give it a whiff. How does it smell, right? Sometimes I think the sense of smell, at least for me, can kind of be the strongest. Maybe your sense of smell, maybe you don't really have much of that sense, and that's okay. If you don't have access to any of these senses, that is definitely okay. Just do your best. We're just using it in our mind to kind of bring it into being. So imagine how this thing might smell if you were to be able to smell it. And now, how does this thing taste? Of course, how does it taste? If it is food, you'll definitely be able to imagine that. Maybe it makes your tongue kind of well up, kind of moisten. I know some people don't like that word, but maybe it moistens the tongue just a little bit. It makes your mouth water, kind of, doesn't it? Or if it's a smell, again, maybe it's a smell that you don't really want to taste. But even at that, like if it's a perfume or something, maybe it's probably going to taste kind of bitter. But maybe the root of what the perfume or the candle or whatever scent you're imagining, whatever the scent actually is, maybe you can taste it and maybe it tastes okay, like roses. If it's like a rose scented candle, the candle itself probably wouldn't taste very good, but think of how a rose might actually, you know, because you can have like rose macarons and stuff. I know that. The flavor of like edible flowers or something, if that's maybe the scent you're imagining. And now after that, we're going to finish. Of course, you probably kind of saw this one coming. How does this object feel? If it is food, maybe it's finger food. Maybe you can pick it up and kind of feel it. Maybe it's something that you'd rather eat with a fork or a spoon or chopsticks, you know, whatever. Or maybe it is a food that you would like to just stick your hand in, like some big fat cake or something. Stick your fingers in there and feel how that feels. And if it's a smell, again, how does the object, the thing that you're smelling, how does it feel? If it's perfume, maybe you can imagine like the mist like hitting your skin and you can kind of sense the feeling of it as it's spritzed. Or if it's a candle, maybe you're imagining like holding your hand above the flame and you can like feel the heat of it on your hand. Or again, maybe you're imagining like the smell of like flowers or something. How do those flowers, like how do the petals and the stem and everything, can you imagine yourself holding it? And then to finish this all off, let's just take one big breath in. And as you let it out, just let this visualization go. And if you had your eyes closed, you can slowly start to open them now. And now, how do you feel? I'd also like to know what object, what either food or scent you might have chosen to think about and to visualize. Leave a comment. Be very curious to see what everyone else thought of. I actually thought of a couple of things as I was describing different scents to you. I definitely thought of like roses and flower petals and stuff. But my original thing, my original food was actually Thai peanut noodles. Because I really love Thai peanut noodles and I was like, that sounds really good right now. So but in any case, we chose this, or I chose to do this exercise with you today, this 5 senses, 5 feelings, not only because it is a really great grounding technique if you ever need to ground yourself, you know, doing this visualization, pausing, doing a visualization of something you really like, some type of food or scent that you really enjoy, using your senses, all your 5 senses if you can to visualize it. Maybe all your 6 senses, I don't know. But aside from that, I chose to do this exercise for this day because each of us probably picked something different. It would be very interesting if somebody else picked Thai peanut noodles, but you know, everybody has their own unique tastes, literally tastes, things that we liked to taste, things we like to visualize, and things we just enjoy, right? So we're all very unique, and we all probably picked different things, and that's what puts the you in unique. So now, as always, we're going to move on to our second part of our session today, and we're going to go on ahead and work on our worksheet. So if you have your worksheet available, go on ahead and pull it out now. Again, either if you printed it or if you're doing this digitally, like I'm going to do it digitally over here. I can show you here on my laptop. And today is definitely a fun one, or at least I think it's fun. So we're going to start off, are putting the you in unique. You and unique. So the first part of our worksheet today, because again, part of our mental wellness is sometimes we do have to think about the negatives, and like yesterday, we did a lot of difficult work turning negatives into positives, but sometimes it's nice to just focus on the positives because that's just as beneficial, right? So we're going to start off with name your top 5 favorite hobbies, activities, sports, or other things of enjoyment. And again, yes, I am definitely going to challenge you to fill out all 5. If you think of more than 5, you get like super duper bonus points. You can add more over in like there's a blank space over here. But again, just your top 5 favorite things to do. And if this is really, really hard for you, if you're like, you know, kind of feeling down about yourself, this is where, again, this is going to be challenging work for you, but I really, really want you to try and think of things that you really, really enjoy. Even if you can't think of very many, think it can be very, very simple things, you guys. Sleeping could be one of your things of enjoyment. I really enjoy that too. It can be really, really simple things like that, like spending time with someone, or I don't know, taking baths, I love taking a bath or a shower every single day. So like just these simple things that could be part of your daily routine, those can be things you can enjoy, or can be your things of enjoyment. It doesn't have to be straight up like a hobby. Like you could be like, oh, I love to crochet, I love to knit, I love to sew. You know, those are hobbies, and that could be something that you really enjoy. But if you're like, I don't have any hobbies, think of these simple things that you really enjoy too. And like that, I'm going to give you a minute or two to go on ahead and fill out your answers, as I'm going to fill out mine beside you. And again, what's probably going to be really nice is each of these things are going to be really, really unique to each of us. We probably won't come up with the same answers. We might come up with the same like 1 or 2, but so just take a couple of moments to fill this out in your own time. Okay, and as always, if you need more time to put in some more writing, you can definitely pause the video now and do so. I'll just go on ahead and I'll share my top 5 that I just wrote down. I feel like I could definitely come up with more because I know there's a lot of things that I like to enjoy, but I just stuck with 5 for the simplicity of this. And again, if you had trouble coming up with 5, that is totally okay, you guys. I completely understand that this can be kind of difficult for some of us, right? To think of 5 things into, I mean, 5 itself is kind of a lot to come up with if you are someone that you're in a point in your mental wellness journey where it's difficult for you to enjoy things. I definitely understand that. And that is, I want you to know that's 100% okay. Just do your best here, okay? But I'll go on ahead and share my top 5. My first one is my ballet practice. I absolutely love doing my ballet practice. My second one is writing. You guys might have already known that about me because you guys already know I'm an author and an artist. Vacations with some of my friends. That's definitely something I look forward to, just probably once a year, but it's still something I really do enjoy. Bike rides with my puppy Ellie. You guys might have seen her in some other videos on here maybe. Little Ellie. My new thing is taking her for little bike rides and she runs beside me. And it just makes me really happy to see her little happy tail wagging. Oh, it's so cute. And then, of course, I wanted to keep it, at least add a simple one in here too. Simple in quotes. My daily showers, because I really do cherish my daily... I have showers every single day. I have to wash my hair every single day. Not that I'm like high maintenance or anything, but like that's my thing. And I know for some people, especially when you do kind of struggle with your mental wellness, that doing like anything related to your hygiene on a daily basis is really, really difficult. And if you don't enjoy that, that's totally okay too. This is why, you guys, I said everybody is unique, because just because this is something that I really enjoy, well, this set of 5 things that I really enjoy, you might look at these and be like, oh, I would hate each of those. Like, that you might be like, I would not enjoy any of those things. And that's totally okay, because your answers are going to be completely different and unique from mine. And again, that's what we're here to celebrate, you guys. We're here to celebrate each of our likes and perhaps our dislikes as well. So definitely this is another one if you want to comment below with your top 5 answers, or if you got more than 5, great for you, but definitely share that and we can all chat about it. But let's go ahead and move on. And like I said, even though this is supposed to be kind of like fun, right, and enjoyable, I think focusing on the positives like this, I understand that for some of us, it might still be really difficult, right? Like I said, it might be really difficult for you to come up with five whole things that you're enjoying right now, and that's okay. But for our next little activity here, I guess, actually, whatever you want to call it, I want you to find or think of one physical quality and one mental quality to celebrate about yourself, to celebrate in yourself. And like I just said, I know sometimes this can be really difficult for us if you're not used to celebrating yourself in this way. But again, that's the challenge, and I want you to really, really try on this one. So think about yourself physically. What is one trait about yourself that you really like, and that you could like really celebrate about yourself and say, I really like this in me. I really like this part of me. And then of course, one mental trait that you might have, something that might be, I'm thinking, part of your personality, or just something that you know that you can really excel at personally. So again, I'll give you a minute or two to go on ahead and fill this part out as well. One by one. Think of a physical trait about yourself. Again, completely ignoring the negative. You might think, well, there's 1,000 things I don't like about myself. And that's okay too, but we're not worried about that right now. We really, really want you to think, what is your best physical trait? What is one thing you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, I really like that. I really like what I see right there, okay? So keep working and thinking of some good answers for this one. And again, pause if you need to, if you need more time with this. I'll just go ahead and share my 2 qualities that I came up with. Maybe if you're struggling, you can look at mine and say, oh yeah, I have that too. Or you can, maybe it sparks a new idea for you or something. For me, when I look at myself, I really enjoy seeing my hair as my best physical trait. Just as a natural redhead, it's a really rare quality, I believe. It is like less than 1% or 2% of the world has naturally red hair. And especially my color is definitely unique to me. And I really enjoy that about myself. It is something that, you know, you could look at, something that makes you unique. And you could be like, oh, I hate that this makes me so different. But I think you can also look at it and say, you know what, I like that it makes me different. So that's why I think this question is great for that. Maybe you come up with a couple of things that you're like, this is something that's different about me compared to, you know, a lot of other people. And that's something that you think is your best physical trait that makes you really unique. And then for my best mental trait, I wrote my work ethic, because I like to think of myself as a workhorse. Is that what they say? Or something like that. You could also say there that maybe you're someone who you really like to persevere in hard times, or maybe you're someone who's like, you're a really empathetic person, you're a real empath, you know? Just things like that could definitely be some good mental traits for you to write down. Okay, let's move on to our next little exercise here. I want you to think of one thing of enjoyment that you have always wanted to do or learn. So this is different from up here when we wrote down the 5 things that are already things of enjoyment that you do. This is one that you have always wanted to do or wanted to learn. And this is a bit of a writing prompt question, so describe what it is and why it interests you. But again, we're not looking for a whole essay here. It can just be a phrase or two. You don't have to go really into depth with your writing unless you really want to, right? So go on ahead and think of that thing, and you can write about it here. And again, I'll give you a couple of minutes, and then we'll reconvene together. Okay, so here we can reconvene now, bring us all back together. I just wrote a short phrase here. I didn't really write a lot either. You can write as much or as little as you'd like. Maybe you save this question for later if you write maybe just a little bit now, and then maybe you come back to it after our session today and add a little bit more. But I said for my one thing of enjoyment that I've always wanted to do or learn is learning new languages, because that is something that would make me feel smarter, or at least I think like cognitively and mentally a little bit sharper maybe. Of course, I have learned a couple of languages in the past, but I feel like I haven't always practiced what I've learned very well. So one thing that is on my endless to-do list, something I want to do, is go back into a couple of the languages I've learned before and really learn more within those and really expand them to where I can actually use them. Because I know before when I've started learning different languages that it just makes me feel, I don't know, better about myself cognitively. I mean, it probably really does. It does help your brain to learn something new, whatever that thing is, whether it's a new language or a new hobby, a new sport, new activity, whatever that thing is. It really does. It actually activates your cognitive brain a little bit more, and it does make you a little bit sharper. But just when I am in that process of learning, I just feel it. And it is a nice feeling. It makes you a little bit mentally tired afterwards, I think. But plus also with something like learning a new language, it opens up the door for you to physically communicate with different people, right? But other hobbies, like maybe you say that you've always wanted to learn how to paint. For example, if you were to like take painting classes like with other people, then that would give you more chances to, you know, socialize with other people, and that kind of expands your brain and actually helps you even more mentally. So thinking of it that way, I'm actually going to add a little bit more to this answer, because now I feel like it's kind of short and that there's more I could say. Of the worlds. There we go. How about that? That's a little bit of maybe a little bit longer, lengthier answer for that. It also gives me a chance, or would give me the chance to connect with other people of the world. So again, I'm sure maybe your answer might have been learning a new language or two too, because I feel like that is kind of a common one, right? That's kind of like something at New Year's, everyone's like, this year I'm gonna go to the gym, this year I'm gonna learn a new language, right? It is kind of a common theme of like, that's something I've always wanted to do, you know, and then maybe we don't ever get around to doing it. But in any case, maybe that was your answer, could have been, but more than likely you probably wrote something else for this too. And again, that's what's making each of us so unique. So definitely share this one if you feel comfortable. Share it in a comment below so that we can all see what you wrote down for this and kind of share it around and talk about it, right? And maybe you'll find someone else in the comments who also wrote the same or a similar answer to you, people that you can maybe connect with on that too. Okay, now let's move on. I believe this is our last exercise for today. We had a little bit more because it all fit on one page, I guess, but a lot to celebrate about ourselves, right? So now for this one, we're going to give gratitude to ourselves. So all of this was, you know, celebrating ourselves, celebrating our likes and things that we like to do. But now this one is going to be more about being grateful to ourselves and thanking ourselves, because I feel like a lot of times we do a lot of times push ourselves to do things maybe that we're not always comfortable with, or we kind of push ourselves out of our comfort zone, usually on a daily basis even, because you know where the comfort is staying in bed in the morning. That's a big one, right? So pushing ourselves to get up and going, maybe we don't get to do that every day, and that's totally okay too. But on the days that we do, or the days that we do push ourselves to do something, even the simplest things like taking that shower today, or, you know, even like brushing your hair today, you know, taking care of yourself. Or it can be something else. Maybe it's something you did at work, or I don't know, it can be like it can be so many different things here. But a lot of times we do things that pushes us out of our personal comfort zones daily, and then we don't really take the time to acknowledge it, right? We just do it. And then a lot of times, I know this is what I tend to do, is I tend to then kind of get in my head and I ignore what I just did and I think about the next thing, right? I'm always like, well, okay, I did that. Now I gotta go and do this and take that next bigger step, you know, out of the comfort zone or onto the next thing, whatever it may be. And a lot of times we don't take time to like stop and appreciate our accomplishments, even if they're very, very small. So that's what this little exercise is for here. So lastly today, name one thing, just one thing, that you have done today that you can thank yourself for. Something you've already done today that you can thank yourself for. And you can write it down here by finishing the statement. I already started the statement for you, so it kind of prompts you, hopefully, to think of something to fill in the blanks. Dear me, thank you for doing this today. So what is that this? What is that thing? And I want you to really, really think about this one, you guys. Again, it can be something big. It can be something very small. Just one thing that you have done today that you would like to thank yourself for. And again, I'll give you a minute or two to go on ahead and fill that in. I'm going to put my answer on the second line because I'm typing and I can't really get it to go from line to line, but go on ahead and think of that one thing and write it down. And then in a second here, okay, we can kind of reconvene now. Pause if you need to. So for me, what I wrote, dear me, thank you for doing this today. Getting up and out of bed with a good attitude. Because honestly, I know it's not always easy. I mean, the getting up and getting out, that's one thing. But getting up and getting out with a good attitude, That's a win. So again, maybe your thing was this was kind of simple, but I know for some of us it can be a big thing too. Another thing, if you really can't think of anything to put for this answer, I'm going to tell you right now one thing you can do. Filling out this worksheet so far. Right? That's actually a pretty big thing. That can be your one thing, thanking yourself for doing this hard work today literally on our worksheet right here. You can thank yourself for showing up for this session today. Again, that's like a really big one that I think we could all put that down, right? So hopefully you did come up with something that you can thank yourself for. And now, you already know what time it is. It's time for our brain break of the day. And this one is probably why this is like my favorite session, I think, or one of my favorite sessions. And it's because of what I have planned for you. So, in order to do this brain break today, you're going to need a piece of paper, okay? I'm going to show you what to do with the paper, but you just need a piece of paper. If it's a piece of notebook paper, printer paper, it doesn't matter. I've got this plain white sheet of printer paper. So if you need to pause and do that, get a piece of paper, that's fine. Now, ideally, if you can get a square piece of paper, that's great, but I know not all of us have square pieces of paper, so I'm going to show you how to make it a square. Out of just a regular sheet of, this is like 8x11 printer paper again. And I am going to use scissors to make it a square. If you don't have scissors, you don't have access to scissors, don't worry. You can always like do the thing where you tear it, but I'm going to show you. And I'm actually going to, alongside this, I'm going to show you here me doing this little activity on the workspace, on my workspace table as well, so you can see a little bit more of a close-up here. But what we're going to do is take your piece of paper, and we're going to fold one corner of it, just like a bottom corner. We're going to fold it up against the other side of the paper, and then we're going to fold it here. I'm not even going to tell you what we're doing yet, because as with all brain breaks, this is going to be a surprise how it turns out. Now, right here along this edge, where we've got this, you know, right here where this line is, you're going to either cut or you can fold and tear it. Folding and tearing, you guys, it works totally fine as well. I've just got my scissors handy here, so I'm going to go ahead and snip this off so that we, again, you know, you don't need this piece of paper. You can make a bookmark or something out of that. I don't know. A little bit of a bonus activity after this. So now, go ahead and take your paper, open it up, and now you should have a nice square here with a fold down one side. So what we're going to take is the other corner that we didn't fold, and we're going to fold it over to this opposite corner here. And then again, we're going to fold all along this line. Some of you might be like, okay, I already know where this is going, if you're kind of a crafty person. If not, you're like, what is happening? Just stick with me for a moment. Just stick with me. Now, going ahead and open your paper back up. You should have it like this, where it looks like a big X in the center, and it's like kind of popping up on the edges. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take one bottom edge and you're going to bring it up to the top edge. And again, we're going to fold down the center just like this. Then going ahead and open it back up. Now from here, you know, you can see where the corners and the sides are kind of popping up a little bit. You're actually going to pick up your paper, turn it over, and then you're going to use your finger to like press down in the center so that the edges are now popping up on this side of the paper. And you're going to take here on the two edges where you see this line going through the middle of the X, and you're going to take those two and you're going to fold them down. Just watch what I'm doing here. I know it doesn't have to be super complex, but just fold it down like this. And then you're going to take what's kind of popping up here at the top, and you're going to bring it down, and you're going to flatten this all out and press it down along the corners. Your corners might not match up perfectly. That's totally fine. Great, now you should have this like triangle looking section here. So now you're going to take, no, we're not done yet, don't worry. We're getting there though. You're going to take the bottom two corners, just one by one, what's kind of flipping up here. We're going to take a hold of it and bring the bottom corner to the top here. And again, just watch what I'm doing. I think it's best to just kind of see what I'm doing visually because it's really hard for me to just describe it to you. So we do one side and then the other. Press it down so it's nice and flat. Okay, great. Now you're going to have something that looks hopefully somewhat like this. Now we're going to flip it over again. Now take this bottom corner here, and we're going to fold it up as far as the paper will let it go. And we're going to press it down here. I know the paper is getting kind of thick here, but just press it down along here. Fold this crease. You're almost done though, I promise you're almost done. I swear to you, you're almost done. Now from here, we're going to take this bottom corner and we're going to bring it up to meet the top corner here. And again, it's pretty thick, but just press it down right here along this edge. And then, you guys, now you're done. Because now we're going to hold this paper thing up, and you're going to see that you have created, if you can or can't guess, this is an origami butterfly. Origami is, of course, the Japanese art form of paper folding. And whether you've ever done origami or not before, you just did it without even realizing it. And you made yourself a beautiful butterfly. Now, if you kind of struggled through doing that, that's totally okay. I'll show you here at the table again. I'll make another one with my actual origami paper here that I've got with the beautiful designs on it and everything. So you can kind of watch me go through the process again here as I tell you about our beautiful butterflies and why we decided to make butterflies today. Because butterflies are actually very, very unique. The wing patterns on different butterflies are all a little bit different. They're kind of like snowflakes. And then of course there's different types of butterflies. There's different colors of butterflies in the wild. There's just so many different butterflies. So I just like to think of, I know this might sound a little bit cheesy, but each of us as butterflies. Because we are all unique and we all put the U in unique today. So we all have probably each of our paper butterflies probably turned out differently from each other's, so that's another little unique thing. But now since this was made with plain white paper, you probably did yours with plain white paper as well, unless you do have fancy origami paper like I do. I want to give you the chance, if you want to, after our session today, work on decorating your butterfly. However you would like, you can definitely do that. So that can be a little bit of, homework, if you will, for after our session today. Just if you would like. If not, that's fine too. If you're like, I'm not here to do more homework, more schoolwork, that's okay. But I hope you all really do enjoy your butterflies. I'm just going to set mine here for the time being. But now, aside from that, I really do want to give you the option of like official homework. I know that word, like, if you don't want to, it's totally okay. But if you are open to doing some more work on yourself after this session today, I am going to give you a little bit of a challenge that if you would like to take the challenge, you can. If not, that's okay. And my challenge to you is for you to write a letter to yourself, a little bit of an ode to yourself, if you will, an ode. Like if you've ever heard, an ode is a type of poem. There's a famous poem called An Ode to a Toad, I think. And an ode is just a celebratory poem that really celebrates an object or a person or a place or just something. So my challenge to you, if you would like to take it, is to take some time after our session today. You can even look up, kind of research what an ode is. But again, an ode is just a poem. And you don't have to write exactly in like poem format. You can just write in complete sentences, but just write a little bit of a letter to yourself celebrating yourself, which is technically an ode. Anything that's written that celebrates something is technically an ode, whether it's a poem or not. It's actually a term called prose poetry, but I won't get all writer geek out on you. I won't geek out with all the writing, tidbits on you, but that is your challenge for your bit of your homework today, if you would like, aside from decorating your beautiful butterfly, if you would like. But aside from that, that is all I have for you for this session today. I'm so excited to still have you here in this course. Again, I'm super duper proud of you for coming this far. I'm proud of you for completing day number 3, because it hasn't been easy, and I want you to know that. And I want you to know that I'm super proud of you. I really am. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 4. Tomorrow is going to be, I want to say, another one of my favorites. But I can't say that they're all my favorites, but it's another one that's pretty well up there. So I will see you all again either tomorrow or whenever you come back for our day 4 session. And until then, I wish you all well, my fellow friends.